So World Hijab Day. I'm so interested in finding out when you guys started wearing your hijabs. So
I'm quite recent. I put my hijab on this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long has it been?
About 6 months.
That's so cool. And you, Lina?
I actually started wearing hijab from the 2nd grade. Like I started experimenting in the 2nd grade. And I remember my mom would tell me, like, don't wear it, people are looking. We used to live in the United States.
Yeah.
And so we would get a lot of looks, like this very tiny little girl wearing a scarf.
I wore it 10 years ago. I think I was 15 when I first wore it. My mom wore it and my sister wore it. And I wanted to be mature and I wanted to be a woman. And I thought that's like what it meant. And I mean, I think it would be insane to say that I wore it because I understood fully what it meant at that time because I was so young. So, but then like, I grew to love it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
How has it been for you since it's like fairly recent? It's only been 6 months.
It's been a transition, and as well because I was already making videos on YouTube, so people were familiar with me without hijab on, and then I put hijab on, and I have a cross audience of people from Europe and America, and I have people from the Middle East. I got a lot of backlash that I wasn't expecting, and I felt like I kind of got caught in the middle there for a bit.
Oh, I bet. Like making that big of a change when you're already on social media, it's not like you started after. So that must have been like an experience, to say the least.
Really frightening. I'm glad that I did it, but yeah, it was an experience. I think with anything, you know, when you look back on something like you finished your degree or something like that, you look back and you say, I worked hard for that. You know, that's the feeling of satisfaction that you leave with. You don't say like, oh, that was a breeze, that was really easy. No, you say, I worked for this and this is what I've got and this is kind of like my badge of honor and I feel proud of what I went through to get that.
Good about yourself.
Exactly,
I travel a lot and so you get the extra checks. When I'm in touristic places, I'll get my own personal bodyguard following me around. It's so strange that the world is so threatened by a woman wanting to take that power and to cover up.
That's what I was gonna say, because I was like, isn't it just funny how threatened they are by a choice, a personal choice that you chose to make for yourself? Like,
I think this is as well the problem that people assume that it's not your choice, that it's that people are making you do it. That's the thing that I most commonly get is like, oh, her husband is making her, it's not her choice.
As an activist, I kind of see it as a form of resistance of like all of these systems of oppression that we face in the world, this narrative that the media puts forward about Muslims or Arabs, all these stereotypes. For me, it's kind of like, this is me and I'm going to resist everything that you say about me. But also, I think it's okay for us to simply say that we wear the hijab because we do it for God, because it's something that's part of our religion. 100%. I feel like we're pressured to kind of find these politically correct, you know, like narratives of why we wear it, so that other people can relate to it. I don't think it's acceptable to say you do something for religion anymore. I don't think that should be the case in the 21st century. I think we should be able to be like, I'm a religious person. I would like to manifest this relationship with God through this hijab.
People also sometimes are too afraid to say that they pray or that they wear the hijab or that they read Quran or that they're super religious because it's like, oh my God, wow, you're an extremist. And it's not. I'm doing the bare minimum, honestly.
I know.
I wish I could do more, but the how low the bar and the standard is nowadays is just insane. It's crazy.
It actually makes me proud to be wearing a hijab and doing all these activities. And I love to swim. I love to cliff dive and skydive and all that kind of thing.
My one pet peeve about society in general, and not just social media, is that once you put it on, you're expected to be perfect almost. And I don't think it's like a measure of how perfect you are. I think you just put it on because you aspire to do more and to be more and to just want to do more for your religion. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have everything else in your life figured out. So yeah, I might have my hijab on, but I also might be lacking in some other areas that I'm working on. And I think that people should cut hijabis some slack when it comes to this.
It's like an all or nothing thing. People expect you to be perfect or don't do it at all.
I think it's so easy to judge women based on their appearance, based on their choices, just because the hijab is so apparent. like whether her hairline was showing or how
scares
long her
people
pants
off,
were.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I have this being said to me the entire time. They're like, I want to take this step, but I'm not sure if I can, because I'm not sure if I can do it perfectly.
When I was first thinking about putting it on, and I kept asking people quietly, like, what's your experience with hijab and things? I wanted to hear from people. And one girl said that when she puts on hijab, it's like kind of like wearing a uniform. So she's like, this is what I want to project to the world. Yeah. So when she's wearing her hijab, she immediately feels more kind of centered and more responsible, and all the things that you said.
It made me a better person. I make better choices. It's not that I was horrible before, but it just makes me that much more careful about everything that I do and say, because I want to put out a good image.
I've had certain doubts along the way, but now it's become a permanent part of me. I feel like I would feel different or not myself if I'm not wearing it. I feel like it grounds me. It makes me remember that there's more things important in life than image or superficial things. It's just an anchor in a world that's very confused at the moment. And so I appreciate that.
I'm assuming it's too soon for you to feel that way.
Are you in the honeymoon phase right now?
Yeah. It was difficult in summer. It was hot. And people kept saying, are you hot in that? And I'm like, yeah, I am hot, like, obviously. But no, I am still in the stage where I'm really loving wearing it.
Part of why I love wearing the hijab, I feel like it makes a statement in a world that really wants us to be globalized and to all look the same and to think the same. For me, it's like, no, I'm here, I'm wearing this, I'm Muslim, I'm proud, this represents my identity. And to me, that makes me love it even more.
You know, I started covering completely my forehead, and that was a stylistic choice, to be honest, rather than, you know, anything else. It wasn't from the pressure that people were giving me, like, your hair is showing, you know. And then when I started covering my forehead, I had other women coming and telling me, you know, you don't have to wear your hijab like that. Like, I can't win.
You can't win. It's either you're doing too much or too little.
Yeah.
I've considered leaving social media multiple times, but I feel like the kind of responsibility I have and the people I've already established a connection with, the girls who take into consideration things that I say, that's an impact. And I didn't want to take that for granted, that people actually want to listen to what I have to say. And that's a responsibility, and I wanted to maximize it.
Yeah, as a convert. Yeah. Like, seriously, it's so important and it's so valuable what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. That makes me feel so good. See, that's why I want to keep doing this, because every time I have second thoughts, or every time I'm like, why am I doing this? I have my other businesses I could do without social media, but then it's like, but all these girls that trust me so much to send me their very deepest personal stories, I just sometimes feel so humbled, and I'm like, wow, you actually trust my opinion this much to want to talk to me about this and to want to discuss these personal struggles with me.
I remember very early on when I first put it on, and someone was like surprised, like saying, congratulations, you put on hijab. She said, like, you never really did anything with your hair anyway, so it's
no loss, it's okay.
Ouch, but okay.
No, it was fine actually, because I feel like that it makes my life more kind of streamlined. It's more comfortable, you know. I don't have to worry about my hair flying around the place and things.
Third day hair, who cares?
Exactly, exactly.
But I think it's time for us to kind of move on from like policing women and kind of really being so strict about women being perfect.
I think that there's people, it's just the manner in which they point out that you're doing something 100%. Wrong. Yeah. So you can go to someone privately and tell them, you know, maybe you don't know this. Exactly. But, you know, I just wanted to inform you just in case you didn't know. Yeah. And then there's writing in angry caps locks on a comment section, like, you're doing this all wrong and things. And I get a lot of women who are either recent converts or they are thinking about converting. And it's always hijab that's the main issue for them, which is so sad, because all things considered, it's really something minor when you know when you're thinking about converting and things. And they say, you know, I'm just worried about that I have to do this immediately, and I have to do it right immediately, and all of these things and they read the comments online and they're like, wow, people are really harsh. Like how do you deal with that? And it's like, it's really wrong. Like it shouldn't be like this.
I always encourage them to just not listen to what people say. And I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah, you have to think about it in 10 years' time. Are you going to remember these silly comments that people make? They're not going to remember the silly comments that they made. You're not going to remember them. So don't make a decision based on those things. I think that you have to recenter yourself and you have to go back and say, why am I doing this? Like, why am I wearing hijab? What does it mean to me?
I just have to say something that I read and this stuck with me. And it's, do not take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah.
And I think that makes so much sense.
Other people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
Like we're trivial compared to how we imagine they're thinking about us and they're judging us. I'm not very involved in fashion. I wear whatever's like the most comfortable. I think because my job is to produce art, the focus is on my art and it's not so much on me. And I believe that a person should really value themselves through the work that they do rather than how they look. But I'm sure that with your line of work, both of you as YouTubers or social media influencers, I'm sure you probably face a lot more challenges when it comes to this.
Me, I'm not a fashionable kind of girl at all. And actually it was when I put hijab on that I started paying more attention to what I wore, because I felt like people are looking at me more now, and I felt no pressure at all. It was just a decision that I made, and my husband kind of said like, oh, you wear a bit more makeup than you used to, and you kind of pick your outfits a bit more carefully, because I mean, I would go out looking homeless. I mean, I'm very much a kind of comfort over style person, definitely. Like I always choose comfort. If it's not comfortable, I will not wear 100%. It. But then people started, being like, oh, where did you get your jumper? And where did you get this? And, you can feel it, like they kind of want that. They want a little bit more of that kind of fashion conscious stuff. I
mean, you might not think you are, but visually and to me, I think you are.
Yeah, you look like a fashionista or like a model or something. Yeah, it looks great.
To me, it's just about like the representation that hijabis and modest dressing women get in fashion. I know it's a lot better now, but then again, is it like tokenism, or are they really including us within like their collections?
When I first put on hijab, I struggled to find clothes that worked. I was like, oh, I have so many long-sleeved tops, I won't have a problem. But then I realized, okay, the long sleeve top is short. Yeah. Or it has a low neckline. So I started,
it's see-through.
Exactly. Yeah. So I started wearing all of my tops backwards.
So same.
But I just felt like it was a long time until I started finding brands that actually catered for hijabis that had all of these small things in mind. So you didn't have to like always be kind of mixing and matching and trying to make it work somehow,
I don't have so many outfits because I buy everything. I mean, I definitely buy the things that I like, the things that I want to wear. However, the message I try to portray with everything that I do is sustainability and is reusing things over and over and styling things different ways. But yeah, and I DIY most of my things. The blazer I'm wearing is actually a men's blazer that I cut and turned into a vest. So I try to like make do with what I have.
That's so
and
cool.
Just make things that I want. My advice would just be to take your time with it, take it easy, try to surround yourself with people who encourage you rather than put you down.
And you have to always come back to the central point, which is your personal belief and your personal journey. And this is about you and your relationship with God, and it's not about anyone else. And if people don't have something kind of positive and supportive to say about that, you don't really have to listen.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I love those messages. Kind of see it as a strength or a superpower or as something amazing that you're doing for the world. I know that one of my proudest moments was standing in the United Nations wearing the hijab, and I will always remember that feeling, and I think the hijab made that moment so much more special. So think about it in that way.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. That's really special.
I'm so happy I got to meet you girls today.
Me
and I'm
too.
so happy I have new friends now. And I mean, it's funny because we've never met before, but then also we connect on so many different levels because of hijab.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And that's a beautiful thing. Like, we have friends with, I don't know how many million people just by this one commonality, which is beautiful.
100%.
That's such a good way of looking at it. I never thought of it like that. I'm so glad that I met you guys, and thank you so much, you know, for sharing your experiences.